Here are 5 tips about the transmedia storytelling, story sharing approach that I'm using here at Legacy After 60. Now, these 5 points that I want to raise today are just insights that I have because of the work I'm doing. And I'm hoping that maybe 1, 2, 4, all 5 may be of assistance to you as you start to unfold what your living legacy life might be about, the legacy contributions and projects. So the first one I'd like to share is about background and glasses. One of the things that I have noticed is that my background, kind of sterile maybe, but yet I don't have a full production suite that I'm using. And until I do so, I'm going to make do with what I have. And that's the hat that I wear in ceremonies. And this is a stand kind of idea that I picked up in Africa. And it has a lot of meaning to it. And I'll actually shoot a video or I'll include it in one of these Transmedia story videos. But the idea of the background is don't let that stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. That's what's key. I played around, trying to figure out, and then I just went simple. I just said, okay, I'm going to keep it really simple. So I've even got a china cabinet kind of idea here. I could put a lot of books in it and just show it off that way, but I'm just keeping it simple. I can always bring the screen over if I want and see how it goes. But I also wanted to mention my glasses because they're part of the story as well. And one of the things that I have found with my glasses is that the lenses pick up and bring out sort of a colored tinge to them, especially in the early morning videos when I shoot my shorts. I live where it gets dark early and stays dark and later into the morning, but I still want to shoot my videos. And sometimes I have to really pay attention to which way I have myself positioned. Now, sun's out, everything's okay. It doesn't show up in the same way. But again, don't let that kind of stuff stop you. Sometimes people have those lights that are just in behind the camera and it's oval and sometimes they show up. It's okay. You're not being asked to make full production. I think over time you'll get better at using it and paying attention to it a little bit more as things unfold for you. But when you're starting out, let it go. Enjoy the storytelling and story sharing. That's what's important. Second point I want to raise is consistency in uploading. People talk about different ways of looking at that, and I just sort of say, hey, listen, there's a schedule you pretty well want to follow. Like Tuesday, I want to put up this, share my Transmedia story. Every morning if I can, if not 5 to 6 out of the 7 as a shorts goes up. Sometime before 9 or just after 9. There's a LinkedIn article that goes up at 8:49 because of a commitment I have. So again, find the consistency for yourself in terms of when you want to publish and where. However, don't let that consistency, I'm not. Don't go there. Did it? It does not help. Now, as you might get involved with someone who you consider has a really good understanding of, let's say, for example, YouTube, and you want to follow them and follow their insights, great, go for it. I'm not going to present myself as someone to learn about the best techniques about YouTube. I'll just share bits and pieces along the way. And if they're of help, great. Otherwise, there are other people who are far more qualified than I to help you out from that perspective. Third thing I'd like to share, I have been working for quite a few months now, trying to sort out the story that I want to tell and share using the transmedia approach. And I kept getting into hiccups or down rabbit trails or following shiny objects and whatever. And I sat down one day with my whiteboard and I sketched out the basics of what I understand. And it's here on the screen now. But what unfolded for me was I understood about legacy, and I understood about the legacy after 60, Legacent, and legacy pathway. But I didn't really have a name for what I was doing. And then I went back into my outdoors, my nature, and thinking about ecosystem. Thus, the term legacy ecosystem came up because the key word that I'm using is legacy. I have this ecosystem, legacy ecosystem that I'm creating, that I'm inviting you into, and let me know how I'm doing with that, because is there something that I'm missing that would be of value to you? Let me know and I'll see what I can do. Someone has reached out and asked for a video, and I'm going to be shooting that probably this week to answer that question. It came in on one of my shorts, and it's a question about linking legacy and being in your 30s. We'll see what happens. And again, if we've not met, my name is Stephen. I'm a Legacent. Sometimes I call myself a legacy mentor, but I prefer the term Legacent. And I'm here to encourage you to really get your legacy stories and contributions projects up and being for the world, with the planet, from the whole. Now, with this ecosystem, it gave me an opportunity to sort of bring things together in such a way is that I said, right, legacy pathway. I'm on a pathway, and you'll see the slight adjustment in the drawing now. There's a pathway that goes through it, and over on the right side, that looks like a couple of curvy, looks like S's. Well, that's what's happening in the middle. So there's a pathway that has that sort of S curve to it. And that's where we'll call it the present. And the future is out there. The past is what's coming in. And therefore, this legacy ecosystem in our present is interacting on this pathway. And what's happening is that this ecosystem, in the next drawing, you'll see in the red that's come up, it's a rolling interactive spiral that's here that has you involved with it, following along this path. So this is not sort of in the sense two-dimensional, just flatlander. It actually has many kind of dimensions and thoughts and feelings and that go with it. Thus, this concept of ecosystem. So when you think of like a forest ecosystem, a grassland ecosystem, it's not sitting there flat, okay, and just walking. No, there are things that are going on. And that's what I'm attempting to share with you, is that the legacy story that I'm bringing forward is dynamic. And by extension, whatever it is that you're going to create, whether it's simply sharing some stories, there's an ecosystem there. And maybe that's like in the corner where the alders are growing by the creek. Then there's the contributions, and that might be more of, there's an ecosystem of game trails where the animals were walking through that you could track if you wanted to and listen and watch. And then there's the sense of the bigger ecosystem that's available to you. And that's a project you might take on. So this idea here of the ecosystem you can use as well, depending on what size, type of legacy you're working with, from just stories or stories and contributions, contributions and projects, whatever it might be. So it's dynamic. Yours is dynamic as well. So enjoy that, even though there is some frustration that goes with that. But if you take a look at the word systems, and don't attribute this to me, I'm just doing a variation on it. I didn't come up with it. But system was save yourself time, effort, and money. And you know, legacy is about time, effort, and money. So save yourself that time, effort, and money by setting up the systems or understanding the systems. So that S at the end of system is for safety. And again, another day, I'll share a little bit more about that safety aspect here, because it's an important variable that you want to bring in to your legacy projects, legacy contributions. Fourth thing, the online magazine Legacent about legacy and living and conversations is now available. Issue number 1. Now, I created an inaugural issue because I wanted to test things out, and that's available. But the issue 1, really putting some effort into then getting it out there as part of this Transmedia story, it's found on my website, and there's a link down below to the 2 issues if you want to go grab them. And they'll be always coming out on what's called my blog, and you'll find them there. And the next issue in December will be free like the other 2. But in January, I might be considering a membership community fee. I'm going to play around. I've got a few weeks to figure that out before the January issue comes out. And it comes out on the full moon. So in a year, there's going to be 13 issues. So that's out. It's available. I would really appreciate it if you went and read it, made some comments about it. What'd you like? What didn't you like? What would you like to see? I really would appreciate that. And the 5th point that I wanted to raise today, random or coherent. I've lived a life that has more leaning into random and just playing with things and seeing where it takes me and just being open. That's how I ended up working all around the world, taking all different kinds of projects. I didn't have like a 20, 30-year career in one place. I did lots of different kinds of things, worked in lots of different countries, did some really interesting things, and I'm glad that I did that. But now that I find myself into this transmedia, that randomness may not work as well as I would like it to. And thus, this ecosystem I just shared, I'm tapping into a little bit more to find some coherence, figuring out what can I do to organize my work so I can sort of have a holistic organization of work, find my wow. Thanks for listening in. Again, comments are always appreciated, and that way we can learn together. And you'll notice videos popping up around here. They're for you to watch, continue your learning. Now, especially take up the playlist of shorts. And if you've got a journal, those shorts are great to be able to get prompts, ideas that get you thinking about legacy from lots of different angles. So with that, always and in all ways, take care.